Hello, everybody. Jason up, New 80s Revolution Cave. It is Friday. Friday, folks. And I like Fridays because it's the day before Saturday. And Saturday is my favorite day because Sunday is my favorite day. And it's fun. And tomorrow night is Up All Night. And I'm excited about that. Look, I am in such a over-the-top mood right now because we potentially could do 3 videos today. And I'm so excited about this stuff. I might do 3 videos today. And the reason is we have the video that we're going to do now. We're going to talk about memorable TV moments. We're going to talk about my top four TV dads. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. Came home, got a couple packages. I was expecting them both, but I wasn't expecting the details of them. And I can't wait to talk about them. The final series 6 of LJN custom stands from 4 Left 3D Creations came, and they're incredible. They're beautiful, and they're going to change the bottom shelf. There is going to be changed up. It's going to look amazing. Yes, there's a Sergeant Slaughter stand, in case you're wondering. But he also included, and when I do the 4 Left video, I will talk more about this, but I simply asked him, hey, how much are the bendy stands, right? How much are the bendy stands? Because he makes stands for bendies, for the WWF bendies. And you know that the bendies are impossible to display. They my bendies are all crammed inside the ring. They always have been, and they've never gotten love. And I personally think that they are incredible figures. I love the way the bendies look. They're little mini LJNs. And oftentimes I even went back and forth with myself because that was the original LJN. That was what they were supposed to be. And then when WWF brought the mock-ups to the toy company, to LJN, they were bigger. And the toy company said, we want those. Or so the story goes. But they were allegedly supposed to be bendies at first. And they just don't get any love. They don't get displayed until now. Because also included in the package from 4 Left 3D Creations was enough bendy stands to house all my bendies. And they're going to look incredible. And I want to go into more detail about that and more thanks and more praise about that in 4 Left's video. The other package that came, a person reached out to me a couple of weeks ago who was not even a regular viewer of the channel. He was friends with a friend of the channel, a friend named Ryan Chataway, who, again, you should go look at his videos. Ryan Chataway is a movie fan. I mean, really huge movie fan. And he just does a lot of film reviews and a lot of collection reviews. And he's just a good guy. Again, these are all people that I would want to be friends with in my real life. And I guess, this fella Matthew or Matt, got turned on to my channel by Ryan, and he sent me a package that I knew what it was, but I didn't know the details of what it was. And the details of what it was is kind of hard to process right now. And I will show you that later today too. He's not a long-time regular viewer of the channel, so he didn't know. I assume he didn't know that I was collecting. He knew I was collecting the collection, but he didn't know about the sub-collection of the collection. You see what I mean? You don't see what I mean, but you'll see what I mean later. Later today, I think. I think I have to do all 3 videos today. I'm just too excited to show you some stuff. And again, it just sets me back in a good way in my brain that people are sending this stuff, that I was lucky enough to meet Net and XOX, that I was lucky enough to get connected with David at 4 Left 3D Creations, and that people like Ryan Chataway are going, hey, watch this guy's channel. And then that guy goes, hey, I want to send that guy something. And he sends me something that he really had no idea how important it was. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'll show you what I'm talking about in a minute. Wow. Anyway, okay, so we're going to do that later. We're going to do 3 videos today. 3 videos on the channel. And then tomorrow is Up All Night. And then Saturday or Sunday will be either the Power Hour or Wrestling with the Past. So anyway, all right. Memorable TV moments. We're not really counting them down anymore because I will keep this series going as long as I have something to talk about. So I don't want to say that we're doing 30 and we've only got 17, but memorable TV moments. Basically, I'm going to give you my top 4 television dads. And why is that important to talk about? Well, I'm a dad. I have a dad, and I like dads. Maybe I should get a T-shirt that says "I heart hot dads." I like why do we watch television? Why do we watch television in our youth or even now? I think we watch television to be entertained, of course. We watch it to laugh. We watch it to be scared, or we watch it to be involved. But I think back in the 80s, and maybe even prior, 50s, 60s, and 70s, I think people watched families on TV. And a lot of people who watched those families wished that they were their family. Or maybe a lot of people escaped the nonsense of their own family by watching other families on television. And I know I did. Not like, not too intense. I don't mean it like, I didn't have a family or anything, but I think maybe even subconsciously, maybe I didn't even know why I liked some of these family sitcoms so much. Maybe I didn't know that I was just really loving the family dynamics of some of these shows. And I'm not a mom, so I can't be drawn to the parenting aspect of the mom when it comes to my own life. But I have a mom, and could I have watched those shows back in the 80s and watched how the moms interacted with the kids and maybe wished or maybe was happy that I had my mom versus the TV mom? Sure, I could. And same with dads. I could certainly just watch the show for the mindless comedy or the sitcom situation, the half hour problem solved in 24 minutes or so. But was I also watching it for the dads? Probably. Was I comparing? Probably. I also think that writers of these episodes, of these series, probably wrote fantasies that they themselves had as kids. This is what I want my family to look like, so I'm going to write a sitcom, where the dad does this and the mom does this. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too deeply about it, but that's what we do here. I've been spending a ton of time with the kids. Not that I don't spend time with the kids, but they've been down here a lot lately. Anytime I do a video, it seems that Liam is down here with Super Mario in the background, and Finley comes down, and now that there's 2 consoles down here, there's the Nintendo and then there's the Sega over there. Finley's playing Road Rash and Sonic, so they're here with me, and I guess that got me thinking about being a dad. And, we want to do the show. We want to do a TV show. So let's talk about dads. Let's talk about TV dads. And these are my personal top 4. And I'll give you reasons why I chose them. Let's start with number 1, folks. These are in no particular order. But number 1 for me is not even a show that was created in the 80s. It was created in the 50s, aired all throughout eras that I wasn't alive. And then I stumbled upon it in about 1984, and that's Leave It to Beaver. That is one of my favorite all-time shows. And when I think about TV dads, the first father that comes to mind is Ward Cleaver, of course, played by Hugh Beaumont. And Hugh Beaumont was a minister in real life, and probably a strict person in real life. And he portrayed that in Leave It to Beaver. Now, would I have wanted a father like Ward? Probably not. But there's just something endearing about him. that I always was attracted to, and it always appealed to me. The brother relationship appealed to me. I never had brothers, but the Wally and Beaver relationship, the fact that they shared a room, that always appealed. June as the mom never really did much for me, but the dad did, and I think this was a different time when I think fathers played much more of a disciplinarian role in the house, and much more of a military, parenting style. But again, there's something very kind and gentle and soft about Ward. And you see it in many, many episodes. All of the episodes you see it in. And he's gained the respect of the children, maybe through fear. I would assume through fear. But he's gained the respect of the children to where they address him as sir. They only have to be looked at by him, and they will change their behavior. But he's sensitive also. You don't always see the sensitivity. The viewer sees the sensitivity. The kids don't. And what I mean by that is, whenever this part of Ward always gets me, and it's why I picked him. Whenever he's yelling at the children, or whenever he's upset with the children, he's angry, and he's chatting with them, and he might ask Beaver a question. Beaver, why do you think you did that? And Beaver will give some very immature 7-year-old goofball answer. And Ward, who's angry, goes like this. Well then, and he like almost breaks a smile. And it's almost like he's remembering when he was, that's Ward's parenting. Ward parents off of when he was a boy. And he tries to have his children live a similar childhood to him, so he can understand how 7-year-olds give silly answers even when you're mad at them. And he often does this. He's trying not to laugh as Beaver is getting yelled at. He's trying to hold it back. Well then, I think you should go straight to your room. And then Beaver goes to his room, and then Ward kind of smiles a little bit as Beaver's being punished. And I think that's cool. Different era, different type of parenting, different type of fathering, different marriage. June is very subservient to Ward, and really runs everything by him. And again, it just speaks to the era that was in. Next one, a little bit different. We're jumping into the modern now, or the 80s anyway. Jason Seaver from Growing Pains, Alan Thicke, of course. I watched Growing Pains last year, and I watched the whole series last year, and really, really, first of all, that show, skyrocketed up my list of favorite shows, and I think my favorite character was the dad, was Jason Seaver. Again, this is a modern father who is, not Ward Cleaver. He's trying to be hip. He was once hip. He was a musician in the show. He was a rock star in the show, previous, to being a parent. And so he's kind of holding on to his coolness, right? While the kids are looking at him like, yeah, right, Dad. And I don't want to be, that kind of reminds me of me. I wasn't a musician, but, Liam is wearing Adidas jumpsuits. Well, I used to wear Adidas jumpsuits back in my 20s, right? Liam's growing his hair long. Finley's growing his hair long. Well, I did that too. And, Liam's wearing all black, and I wear all black. And, I used to do all that stuff that you're doing, man. So I'm still cool. I'm cool. I think that, I took that from Jason Seaver's parenting. He's hilarious. He's a dad joke king. I love that. Sorry, I'm looking at a text. I love the dad joke, attitude. He's all over Mrs. Seaver. He's all over Maggie Seaver. So they have a healthy relationship there. He gets real serious and mad sometimes, but even when he's mad, he's not He's not abusive. He's not aggressive too much. He's not violent. He's just mad. Um, he deals with all the kids' differences very well. You know, Mike Seavers, the rascal, he deals with him. He gives him a little bit of rope. He gives him a little line to mess up. You know, he's not on him constantly about screwing up in school. You know, he's got this genius daughter that he tries to parent as a dad. He's got, you know, Ben, and then they have another one later. But I love that. I love Alan Thicke and Jason Seaver and Growing Pains. I think it's again it went up the list of favorite shows for sure. Next one is Bill Cosby from the Cosby Show. I think Bill Cosby is hilarious. They've got what, 5 kids in that house. You know, a doctor, not a surgeon, but a baby doctor. Is he an OB? Does he ever identify himself as an OB? I mean, he delivers babies, so he's an OB, right? And he's got his wife who's a lawyer, right? So they got some serious money. You know, they're $1 million family. Maybe back then, maybe not, but I don't know. What do baby doctors make? What do lawyers make? I have a $500,000 household, maybe, and lots of kids. And Bill Cosby's parenting style. I actually like his parenting style over all of these guys, to be honest with you. Again, gains the respect of his kids, not abusive, not aggressive, firm, but comical, always joking around with the kids. In fact, the mom can get more angry than the dad, you know, but art imitating life. But Bill Cosby was such a good dad and a funny, loving dad. In fact, I remember in the first couple of episodes, the parenting was based off of his Bill Cosby himself stand-up routine. And so the first couple episodes, he even used the jokes that he used in his stand-up routine. And I loved Bill Cosby himself. I watched it all the time as a kid. And then when I watched the episodes over again, I was like, whoa, that's his whole comedy routine in the first couple of episodes. And one thing I remember the most that just tells me who he was as a parent and who I am as a parent, he's talking to Theo. It's season 1. He's talking to Theo and he's giving him this, they're doing this lesson, this deal with Theo where, you know, Theo wants some independence. He wants to be in the real world. So, you know, Bill Cosby is you know, giving him an opportunity to live in the real world while living in the house. Like they're charging him pretend rent out of Monopoly money. It's just good. But at one point, Theo's not doing well in school. And the dad, Bill Cosby, comes up and says, your mother is telling me that you're failing, whatever. I'm paraphrasing. And, you know, you need to do better and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and then Theo says, you know, Dad, you know, I just wish that you could, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but you could not look at my grades. And it gets real serious and the audience is silent. You know, I just wish you could look at my grades. I just wish you could, you know, see that I'm trying and that you love me as your son and that I'm trying. And, you know, maybe I'm struggling and I don't know why I'm struggling, but, you know, maybe you should just love me for me instead of my grades. And the audience claps. They see it as this real serious moment and they clap. And Bill Cosby goes, you know, he's watching him and his face is softening as he's talking and you can really feel the heartfelt moment. And then Bill Cosby goes, boy, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the audience explodes, and then he's soft, and you know, come here, I love you, and he's talking to, I just want you to do better, and I just love that. I love that. Theo gives him this big, and that I could see myself doing that with my kid. I do that with Liam all the time when he's manipulating me to do something. You know, Dad, I played Fortnite for 26 hours yesterday, yes, but I didn't get to play with one particular friend. I was playing with 18 other friends. I need to play today with one other friend so I don't lose the friendship, so that doesn't want to be my friend anymore. So can I just play? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I love it. And, you know, Bill Cosby was great with his son. He was great with his daughters. He was great. He was just great with the neighborhood kids. Save all your jokes about Bill Cosby and how he was great with all the female cast members too. Just stop it. I don't care. I'm not talking about Bill Cosby. I'm talking about Cliff Huxtable. Finally, and this one might surprise you, but Dan Connor from Roseanne. Because Ward is a class above. Bill Cosby is a class above. Alan Thicke's character is a class above. These are upper middle class families. And then we got the Connors. We got Roseanne and Dan. And they're not upper middle class. They're paycheck to paycheck, right? They're just a regular family. And that's the family that I could relate to the most. I would watch those other shows and fantasize, but I would watch Roseanne and go, yeah, that's my house. That's what I do. That's our family. And I loved it. I loved how Dan Connor was overweight, how he was sloppy, how he wore flannel shirts and big jeans all day, how he, sat down at the table and turned the chair around backwards and plopped down at the table, how he had his hat on backwards, how he really just wanted some meatloaf and mashed potatoes when he came home from work, how he yelled at the children, how he fought with Roseanne, how their furniture was not up to date. I loved that part. I loved how real that family was. And I think that show did so well because other families could relate. You couldn't relate to the Cosbys. You couldn't relate to other sitcoms where they have big homes and lots of money, but you relate to Roseanne. And as a dad, I would relate to Dan Connor. Loved his kids through the roof and would throw himself in front of a car to protect them. But was just a regular guy, a regular guy. And look, we got to save up some money to get everybody new sneakers. And I love that. Then the show changed for me. They won the lottery. And when I watched that series, I own that series. But when I watch it, I know I'm not going to care too much about the last couple of seasons. I like the first bunch of seasons, that the realness of the family is there. But yeah, I love the everyman, common man, appearance and parenting style of Dan Connor. So that's my top 4 TV dads. Love them all for different reasons, obviously. What are yours? Tell me yours. I might do my favorite moms. I don't know. I pay more attention to the dads, if you know what I mean. Big ups to dads. Yeah, put yours down below, obviously. And if I can think of more stuff, I'll keep the show going. But later today, 2 amazing packages from 2 amazing people. And I can't wait to show you what I got. I can't wait. I'm going to start cataloging the one thing now. My friend Matt knows what I'm talking about. I got to catalog the first thing that came. And I'll show you what I got later. So thanks for watching. Good night now.